Everyone. Hello. This is Dan Gershenson from Caliber Brand Strategy and Content Marketing. Welcome to this week's version of the Marketing Guides podcast. As always, I'm joined by Ken Tucker of Changescape Web, Ian Cantle of Outsource Marketing, Jen Kelly from New Initiatives Marketing, and Paul Barthel from Changescape Web as well. Today, we are actually talking about a subject that's been on my mind. I think it's been on some other people's minds here on the panel as well. There's a phase of the buyer's journey that we're going to talk about today, and we are going to talk about it because it's kind of a hidden phase of that journey that many people don't think about, or they think maybe this doesn't apply to my business. I'm special. We don't do this. And that phase is called the try process. Now, you know that we've talked about funnels recently and all the components of that. And you might be thinking like, this is just the offer part. But the try is something more than that. It's also about the tactic that you may be using. So what we're going to do is do a little bit of a round robin here today, and we're going to go through talking about some of the tries that have worked well for us as marketing consultants first. And then we're going to go back and also talk a little bit about some of the folks that either we have worked with as clients or people we see in the industry who are really killing it on the try before you buy. And that will probably give you some great inspiration and food for thought. So I'm going to say, Ken, today, I'm going to start with you. So Ken, tell me a little bit about, just in your own business at Changescape, what are some things that have been working pretty well for you when you have gotten people to the point of trust and they are certainly feeling like, I got Ken on my short list, but I want to now, I think I might want to work with Ken. What do I do in between the trust and buying?
Yeah.
What's been working well for you?
Well, the thing that's always worked the best for us has been some sort of SEO audit. And so, people can come to our website or websites. We have multiple websites, and they can, just simply run an SEO audit. It sends them a result set back of what's going on with their online presence. And then, from there, I like to schedule a free discovery call, just to kind of talk through the results of the audit. That gives us an opportunity to see if it's a client that we want to work with, if that client is interested in working with us, if they can even afford us, because a lot of people have a perception that SEO is $150 a month. And, it's going to get you ranking on page one for everything that you ever want to rank for. And that just is not the case. So that works really well. We also have for our text message marketing system, I've got a simple little landing page that I drive people to that gives them the opportunity to fill in their name and their cell phone number. They'll get to watch a video to see, which is a demo of our text message marketing program. And then they're going to get a sequence of text message marketing, text messages, I should say. They just talk about the value of text message marketing for restaurants. Why is text message marketing such a great strategy? What can you do with it? What kinds of messages can you send? Those are some great things that we do. We've got a bunch of ebooks. As a matter of fact, my weekly newsletter this week, we've got 3 new ebooks on our website for people to come and grab. Those don't work as well as they used to, but they're still good. They're still great sources. I think you need to work hard at getting that in front of the right audience. It's not really just a great lead magnet, that you can put on your website. And all of these are designed to give people an idea of what would it be like working with us. What's our mental framework? What's our marketing strategy constructs? What do we think is important? All of that kind of stuff. We also have done a couple of surveys that have worked pretty well. So we try a bunch of different things. Incorporating video into the mix when you can is really like a supercharger, I think, in this day and age.
Yeah. Well, is there any are these all free tries, or is there any one of those where there is a paid component at all? Or how do you, I guess what I'm getting at is there a way that you sort of distinguish the seriousness of someone versus someone just trying out a little?
So, yeah, so these, many of these, with the exception of the restaurant text message marketing program, are probably going to drive people to a marketing checkup, which is it's a low cost assessment of somebody's overall marketing posture. And, we charge $2.99 for that. And that's a paid engagement, but I don't give that away for free, because free is, there's a reason stuff's free.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just want to start building a relationship. We want to get you thinking about what it would like to work with us, but not necessarily pulling the trigger. There's no better way to do that than to get somebody to make a little commitment to you. If it could be $7, it could be $2.99, it could be $9.99, but you want to $9.99, I should say.
Yeah.
But you want to get somebody to make that an initial investment with you. And again, the reason try is super, super, super important. And let me tell you, everybody's doing try whether they realize it or not.
Yeah.
Every email you send is kind of a try to a potential client. Every proposal you send is a try. So I mean, there are multiple levels here, but we want to do tries because we want to find out. And I think our customers or our clients want to find out as quickly as possible, while still getting massive value, is this the right course for me to move forward with? Is this the business that I want to stake my claim with to transform my business and grow the way I want my business to grow?
Yeah.
And I want to know, is the client going to have the commitment to let us do what we need to do to make that happen? And try offer is a great way to do that.
And I love that you have that price point of, you're basically just under $300 for that particular try. People think that the try has to necessarily be a lot of money or something like that. Even if it's something that is sometimes $50, it can be something, or even less than that. Just having the parting of some dollars, I think, shows so much of a commitment there. To say, well, I mean, this is not a lot of money we're talking about. I mean, you could spend $300 on practically anything, and if you can be any kind of serious, that should not be a lot of money to you. So that's what's so great about the kind of offer that you have there. That kind of try, I think, is a good one to have in your tool belt.
Yeah,
great. So Jen, same question for you. As you've been working with prospects at new initiatives, what kinds of tries have you seen that have been working pretty well? Or do you have more than one? What kind of mix do you have?
Sure. Yeah, we have a mix of two. So I'll talk about Nimble Quotes, because that's quite a hands-off try, and then new initiatives, which it really does feel like it's quite hands-on, but it's designed that way to serve a purpose. So, okay, first of all, with new initiatives, so we take on the duct tape marketing recommendation of doing a TOPA, so Total Online Presence Audit, so TOPA. And what's so neat about that is, so our end goal typically with clients is to work with them for a year. So we really want to be their marketing department. We have different programs and whatnot, and I know things are different during COVID, but that's our ultimate idea, to be your company's marketing department. And in order to do that, we're going to be in touch with you. We're going to be, doing different campaigns. We're going to be right there as your partner. And in order to make that kind of commitment, they have to, obviously like what they see, trust it, see, how it is to work with you. How do you guys think? Who's on your team? What's really happening? So the TOPA, the way we run it, it's excellent for that. So first of all, as someone's trying to decide, do we want these guys for a year? I mean, that's a pretty heavy commitment, right? So, and then on our side too, if they're going to say, oh, maybe we'll take you for 2 months, by the time we get ramped up, 2 months is over. So how do you make that happen? So how I typically introduce the TOPA is that we do it within 7 days. On the 8th day, we can present to you, and it's $9.99, so $999. And within that time frame, so within 8 days and basically $1,000, you're going to know how we think, if we're a great team to work with you. If we are, you're going to know what we're going to start on first. You're going to know why we're suggesting you do that. And we do have an out, and it is a legitimate out. And I think that's very important when you have a try, that there is an out. And the out is this, if we find out after, we do our presentation and we're not a fit to work together, you, the client, have a recorded presentation, you have the slide deck, you have all the reports, you have the checklist, you know exactly what to go and do either yourself or to go and do with another company. And it's really, ultimately, obviously, we want to, get 100% success rate on almost everybody that we sell to. But you know what? If someone isn't going to be right for you, if you're not right for them and whatnot, there really has to be a legitimate way for them to have it be low risk. And I think that's really something that's very, very important with the try. It can't be like enter your credit card here and, because we've all been caught in that, right? So it can't be like that. So that's on the new initiative side, but that is it's pretty high touch. So when we're presenting, I've got my technical lead in the call. And so we're able to answer all the technical questions. We're able to answer, the bigger strategy questions, some of the execution thing, that whole thing. So they can see, if we work with you guys, here are two of the members that will be, presenting and working with us. For something that we have a try that's totally hands-off, you probably don't see or, deal with a human. It's on the Nimble Quote side. And so that's a subscription product that is online. You sign up for it. And what it does is it posts inspirational quotes to your social media feeds as if you've posted them yourself. The trial there is 7 days. And what we've chosen to do with that, and it's completely free, you don't need a credit card to sign up, the whole bit, And when somebody comes in for that kind of trial, we give them the Cadillac version. So we give them the ultimate advance, all the bells and whistles, try out everything. And then, at the end of the 7 days, then we're saying your trial's coming to an end, please choose one, away you go. So at least they have the chance to get, the highest version possible, all the bells and whistles, try out everything. And then they can decide, I can't live without this, or a couple levels down will work for me a lot better. So there's a high touch example and a really low touch hands-off example for you.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that you bring up is so important for folks who are offering this try, in that it's not just that prospect that you're not just pitching them. And that's the beauty of this, I think, is that you're seeing if there's chemistry, and if there is something that feels right. Great, but if there's something on your side as the person who is developing the try, what that offer is, if something doesn't feel right, I think we've all kind of got to a point in our careers where we can spot red flags and our spidey sense is going off pretty well, and there's some things said or you don't know if they're all in, that you can say, I think we should just think about this for a little bit and, come back to it at a certain point. But in the meantime, here's, this try for you, and this product for you that you can have a plan. And then, you got a little bit of time. That's a nice way of kind of saying, we're good. I think, where you're like, we've got, you've got some stuff there. Let's keep in touch. That kind of thing. Like, because it happens.
It does. Yeah. And it could be on the technical side. It could be like, we didn't realize that actually you're going into this market, or you require this. We don't have the chops for that, or we don't have those capabilities. So it could be purely that side. Or it could be a chemistry thing. I mean, I don't think we should forget that, consultants, while we do a lot of things that are hands-off and with software and whatnot, there's a large amount of that relationship and that enthusiasm for the project that just has to be there on both sides. Otherwise, it's just,
Yeah, like, you got to care.
It's not good.
You got to care, and that's, you can't fake it. Like, that's it. You got to feel it. Ian, when you have been, you've been working with some different kinds of folks, but also you've niched some things as well towards dentists recently. What are some tries that you've done that you feel really good about, and you say, more often than not only does it work, but it works as a better client engagement, like it's smoother because of this try?
Yeah, I mean, mine will be very similar to what Jen and Ken have already said. Where we tend to try to move people through our tries, because it's often a process, is to the free discovery call, because that is truly where we win or lose a prospect. Because as Jen and Ken have both said, it's about the relationship. And so in order to get people to a discovery call, obviously we give them the hot button, on our website and everything we do this now, right? Give us a call. But before that, we have preceding things if they're not quite ready for that. So we have SEO scans like Ken was talking about. We have ebooks. We do website checkups. But once we get to the consultation, that's kind of the core of our try. And so that's where we will then lead people to what Jen was talking about, which is the total online presence audit. That's often the next step, which is the paid try if they're not ready to jump into working with us long term. And so I won't go into any more detail because Jen did a great job explaining what that total online presence audit is.
Oh, live TV. What are you going to do?
TV? You promoted us.
It looked like you were getting attacked there, Dan.
You can't fake the live experience, ladies and gentlemen.
True. Yep.
But what I was going to say is that one of the interesting nuances of this process, of the try process, is that I get an awful lot of calls now and referrals of people that have been burned, not usually generally in marketing, although that has happened, but definitely in web development and SEO, and sometimes in pay-per-click. But SEO seems to be the really big thing where there's a lot of charlatans or a lot of people meaning well, but just don't know their stuff deep enough to really guide clients and help them. And so that's where I've often won a lot of clients, is because my role, as I see it, is to educate, inform, and help them through that buying decision, but also to help them step off of the ledge that they're about to jump off of, which is I'm never touching SEO again because it's crap, right? So there is a reason businesses should invest in that part of the puzzle. And so I'm happy to give them the time, the energy, the consoling, because oftentimes it's even sharing their pain, because I see a lot of pain out there where people have not just invested money and not gotten results, but they've actually, if anybody understands, and I think most business owners do, but opportunity costs, you've actually lost opportunities to your competition. So you haven't just stood still, you've fallen backwards because of the lack of momentum. And so that's the thing that kills me the most is, somebody that tries to provide the best to my clients. And I'm sure you guys feel this too. It's very painful to hear those stories, but it's also an opportunity to show them a different way. So that's it. I went into expansive talk about that because that's a key thing to my try, is really just sharing with them and walking them through that journey a bit.
Yeah. Ian, I can't stress enough the missed opportunity costs. I mean, with an SEO program, we see so many times people take months sometimes to make a decision, and they want to pull the trigger. They don't realize the opportunities that they're missing. I mean, SEO takes months anyway. If you push the decision down several months, you're just putting yourself that much further down the road. You really have to think about the opportunity costs. And if you make a bad decision, not only is it not helping you, but you're missing massive opportunities. So that's such an important point.
And it leads very well into the discussion about doing a total online presence audit, right? Because right there, you're giving, as a third party, you're coming in and saying, we will show you the state of basically your entire online presence, from social media, SEO, the health of your website, your reviews, how you are ranking compared to your competitors, your key competitors in your area. And so that right there is a massive trust builder, because you're just sharing the truth with people.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, you're muted, Dan. Because of the dog. It was all the dog's fault.
The dog got me all flustered. But the thing that I think is great about the TOPA and other tries like that is particularly when you are walking someone through it, and it's a discussion point, whereas versus a pitch. And I don't know about you guys, but I think the pressure just kind of melts down after that, where it's like, we're just. Someone actually said this. He said he's talking to me like he's already a friend, which is not to toot my own horn. It's rather, it's the nature of that try that allows me to do that. That allows me to say, hey, this is kind of what I see here. But also then as a result, we turn around and say, here's some action steps as a result of that. Not, we can do this for you or we can do that for you. And here's the 15 different things. And there's not a lot of, I have been in that pitch situation in a past life. And I can say the most aggravating thing about it is not only that there's a lot of stress and pressure that you put on yourself, but also you probably take 50 out of 60 minutes talking instead of hearing anything that they have to say. And I think that's part of this that works pretty well is you are doing a presentation, but you're also allowing them to pop in with any and all kinds of questions. So it's more of a discussion. At least that's what I've found. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but that was kind of the game changer for me with that kind of try.
I love your point there, Dan. Just about like part of the winning of a business over or building that relationship is giving people the opportunity to talk, right? Like that's what a relationship is. And even though we're the experts coming in and showing them something, it is an opportunity to build that relationship with them. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Paul, let's go over to you. I know that Ken was listing some of the tries that ChangeScape does, but I was curious, we've talked about some things related to SEO and people with their expectations of what that's going to be, sometimes really out of whack. But what are some tries that you've seen at ChangeScape that you've seen worked kind of the best, not only for making them a client, but also for what after that became the best client relationship because of the try that set the table?
Well, I think part of it is results. We've had, we have clients that they recognize that they don't really know what we're doing on the back end, but they do see their rankings improving. But we've used reputation or, reviews as a try offer, which is really good because that's something that you can do fairly quickly, unless they have like no list and no clients and they're a brand new business. But if they've been around for a while, you should be able to. You can use the reviews as a try offer, and because that is really important. It's not expensive to do. It's relatively simple, and it matters. People trust reviews, and I think that's a really good one. And I will say, I've gotten several emails in the past few days that they can get me ranking for anything and everything on page 1 in 2 days, like Ken was saying earlier. And it's not going to happen. Yeah, they'll get you ranking on page 1 for some obscure keyword that no one is ever going to search for. That's what they do. But the TOPA is really good. I don't know what Jen charges for that. I wouldn't do that for free either. We don't do it for free. But it is a good idea to tell people, say, look, here's where you are. Or Ken mentioned the marketing audit. Here's what we're seeing, and you are non-existent. Let's say you're in a lifestyle type business, but you are non-existent on social media. And that's where the marketing audit can really help. I mean, Ken covered most of what we're doing from the try offers.
Yeah. Though, Paul, as we've been talking about this, you and I have been working really hard over the last year. We've actually componentized our entire digital marketing platform to where reputation is a try offer. It's a paid try offer. People work with us. We've been working really hard to find those solutions that are great to show people we can deliver the goods that are relatively low cost for them, but high value. We've got display traffic programs, where we're running display ads or Google ads. Again, a Google ad program can be a great try offer because you can test out an agency for a 3-month or 6-month program and see how they're going to perform for you. Are they communicating? Are they delivering the results? Are they wasting a lot of your money on bad ad spend? So we've worked really hard at that. We've got a text message marketing program. We've built what we've talked about in the past, a offer focused funnel program, which is designed as a way to let one of our clients try us in a relatively low risk environment, because it's all about lead generation. It's all about delivering, appointments or getting people in the doors for customers, in these types of programs. And so, the componentization of our solution set is really a try offer. And we did it in part. I wanted to be able to deliver something back to communities that have been just decimated with the COVID economy. They don't have the money to spend for a full-blown SEO program, but they need leads. They need visibility. They need to let businesses know that they're still open. A social media program we've got is a great way to do that. What we're doing right now, this podcast and live stream, is a try offer.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think one of the things as you were talking that kind of came to mind as we're talking about paid, some people may think, well, I can do paid, but it has to be just this one tier and on a low end. As we all know, we've been talking about the total online presence audit, but there's also one that is a slight step up from that called Strategy First, which is also a try. So for somebody who can spend a little bit more, rather than say a 3-week 50,000 foot view and at a certain price point that's smaller, that's one thing. But let's say that you want to give somebody a little bit of a higher tier try, and okay, instead of 3 weeks, maybe it's 2 months, maybe it's some more in-depth client interviews or referral source interviews, just a little bit more to it. So this is getting into kind of our try, I guess, but we've found that doing like you guys, the audit is great, but really saying it's okay to say kind of an A or B try. You can do this over here, the online audit, if this fits your budget and your time frame, and here's the expectations of what you get and also what you won't get. I think we're all pretty straightforward about that. But then if they want more, you can have this other try that's a little bit more, not a lot, but a little bit more of an investment, but it's worth it, that gets you all of this. So I think for people listening, don't think that you always have to do one. Clearly, I think we've all said that we have a lot of different ones that we do. But when you have a paid try, you can also have the shall I say, cheaper option, but still effective, or the more extensive Cadillac try that is still going to be probably within a certain period of time, like let's say 2 months. It's not going to be an infinite period of time, but 2 months, a little bit more features to it, and that will probably allow you to hopefully convert them just as easily as the other. So that's a big one. But also, Ken, I think the other one that came to mind as you were talking about componentization, myself and I think some others on this call have done or are about to roll out a sort of a marketing manager mentor program. Mine's actually called Marketing Manager Mentor, but certified marketing manager training. And it's originally designed to be a year long. But as I was thinking about it, some people, I think it was Jen, you said, some people can't think about a year. It's too much for them to think about. So you could take a program like that and say, can I tryify part of this? Can I say 90 days of this year-long program will be my try? They'll still pay. It could be even the same amount as the rest of the year, but you're doing it for a finite window. Like, let's say, again, 1 quarter, see how this feels. And if you like it, we'll do it for the rest of the quarter or the rest of the year. So that's really something that I think you can also look at, which is paid, but also a finite period of time, just let's say 25% of your regular thing. Let's test this out, see how it feels. You're going to get great value. There's no doubt about it. But if you're not feeling like you want to take the full leap for the other 9 months or something, then it is what it is. But I don't expect that to happen. I think most of the time, if you're doing well, they'll continue. So that's kind of a try too.
Yeah.
And you've got, I'm sorry, Jen, go ahead.
Go ahead.
You just have to have the courage.
Mm.
You know, I mean, a lot of folks who may be listening to this podcast are maybe marketing consultants themselves. You got to have the courage, you know, to put yourself out there, deliver the results. And, you know, if you do what you're supposed to do, 9 times out of 10, people are going to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to say 2 things on that, Dan.
Yeah.
With the 90 day, so we're doing a 60-day one, but what we get the commitment ahead of time is day 45. We're going to have the conversation about, you know, what do you think about moving forward with the next 60 days? And the reason that we have done that is just because at the time of this recording, we're in COVID, and, you know, a lot of companies just don't know what's going to be happening, you know, a year out. So, but they can see, you know, 8-10 weeks out. So it kind of makes it a little bit more palatable for them to go, I really want to do this, but I just don't know, you know, what's on the horizon. So if you're talking every 45 days about, hey, are you ready to up it again? That can be really palatable too. On your pricing for trials, I just wanted to also say that I know for me, immediately you think trial, you think free, you think cheap, that kind of thing. I mean, there's people that will always go for that and always be, you know, quickly ready to buy after the trial. There's another segment of our potential clients that will actually pay extra to not be locked in. You know what I mean? Like they don't want that continuous service yet. They haven't decided yet. And you see this sometimes online with, you know, sign up and get on the subscription and, you know, delivery and, you know, 10% off. Well, there's people that'll be like, I'm going to pay the 10% more. I'll pay my delivery fees. I don't want to be locked into anything before I get to know you. Right. So just not to let the price make you think that, it's not a trial unless it's really, really inexpensive.
Right. Yeah. And it definitely, you know, it got me thinking a little bit too here of, I'm wondering if any of you have seen a try that, this is kind of a jump ball for anyone, a try that you've seen out there that you thought this could have been better. Like this could have been, I have one that I just saw this week, but you know, something that you see them almost giving away too much, let's say, or for that matter, if there's anything you've done in the past where you said, I gave away too much. I've had those too.
Like always.
Yeah. But, you know, have you, what's an example perhaps of a try that maybe wouldn't work as well, let's say, that you've seen? I'll go first. I'll get the ball.
Prime the pump.
Yeah. I saw this week of somebody who was doing a multi-session masterclass for free. And I looked at that and I said, wow, that's a lot of revenue you just parted with. And I think it was not the end, you know, for somebody to go through that. They had to actually, I'm sure at the end, okay, if you want to actually work with us on a regular engagement basis, now you can. So I just couldn't believe that somebody would give away that much. And I think that's the danger sometimes in these tries as well. It's not just that it's free, but also how much are you giving away for free? And perhaps, maybe the first class would be free, if that. But I can't imagine why someone would do 5, 6, 7 classes for free. You've just given them everything they needed to know probably before there's an engagement. So that's an example, I guess, of one I certainly wouldn't do.
Yeah, a similar one I've seen fairly recently, and I think it's just because during COVID, a lot of really first-class speakers pivoted, and they started to deliver free seminars, free webinars, free events where they would attract a lot of other first-class speakers and present them. And I've paid for some of those, and I've gone to free ones. And one of the things I noticed, just what you were talking about, Dan, spurred this on, because I got an invitation just the other day, and I signed up for it because it was a free webinar, or it's a free online event. It's a little different than a webinar. It's got multiple speakers. It's got keynotes. It's a full day thing. It is sponsored by one of the softwares that I use. So obviously they're seeing it as an opportunity to entrench myself as a client deeper with them rather than spending time with perhaps their competition. But one of the things that occurred to me is there are some really exceptional speakers here, and I would actually pay to attend this, even if it's just a moderate amount of, $50, $45, whatever it is. I just thought it's a missed opportunity because the chances of me actually attending that webinar or event have dropped dramatically because it's free and I have no skin in the game. So that's, just human nature. Because what I pay for, what I invest in, I will be there to make sure I get a return on investment from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it comes down to the perceived value. Do you have the alignment of what your target audience is going to see as perceived value versus what you're providing in your try offer? And if there's a misalignment there, there's a great opportunity that you're going to do, give something away for free or overcharge and not have anybody take advantage of it, or literally just have the wrong offer that nobody gives a rat's about,
Yep.
And that happens a lot. And you know what?
Trying to preserve our
That's all okay. Because,
Okay.
Look, this is not my idea. I've always heard it attributed to IBM, but when we shifted into, really an online community, IBM's philosophy was fail quickly. You got to experiment. You got to try different things. We don't have crystal balls. We don't know all the right answers. You can draw from a lot of good past knowledge and a lot of great resources to try to do your best to come up with these things, but you got to try. That's the key. You've got to come up and you've got to try to create your try offers. Don't be afraid. In some cases it may lead to nowhere, basically. In other cases, it may pan out and deliver maybe results that sometimes can actually crush your business. We see this again when people go with like a Groupon type of a strategy. They're charging so little for those offers that it literally drives them out of business because they get a flood of customers and then they can't afford, like restaurants. I've seen restaurants go out of business because they had such an influx of customers that they literally couldn't afford to go buy food to offer the products so that they could stay in business.
That's, as I was thinking, Ken, you work a lot with painters and other types of contractors. How does that work for a try in that particular segment? And you're basically trying to do the entire job at once, I would think, where it's the whole house. How has that been working with that kind of crowd or similar?
Yeah, so it really depends on the value of the service that you're providing. So with painters, that's typically a lower cost service. Maybe let's say $3,000-$4,000 project. It's hard to charge anything up front in any kind of a try offer. So, really what you're seeing is, a free estimate, and using the estimate and the walkthrough of the proposal and the explanation of how you're going to deliver the service is really, a big try offer for them. If you're doing solar panels and you're going to put solar on a house, for example, $30,000, $50,000 project, you can ask for a down payment, a commitment, a signing commitment, just so you can deliver your proposal and show somebody, here's what your utility bills are today. After you get solar put on, after you pay for the life, for the system, here's what your costs are going to be. Here's what your lifetime energy savings are going to be. People can pay for that. I've seen that in the past. And so it really just depends. I mean, if you're offering bigger ticket remodeling kind of projects, you can charge for design fees.
Yeah.
You can choose to waive those if they decide to hire you to move forward with the project. So if you're doing a combination of design build, you can charge for, some level of the design and deliver that. And again, it's just like our TOPA, right? So they've got a blueprint that they could take forward and hire another contractor if they like what you proposed, but they didn't feel like you were the right company to bring it to realization.
Yeah. Ian, when you're dealing with dentists, do these guys have a good sort of try, or we've been talking a lot about the upfront try, but I'm wondering, do they do that, or is it more on the back end, kind of a try us for next time kind of thing, where it's a maintenance sort of thing to keep going? What's been working with that crowd you're dealing with?
Yeah, they'll give away a free drilling, that you just go in and they'll drill for free. And if you like it, if there's no, I'm kidding.
That's my bad.
That's my dentist.
You have to pay for the anesthetic or something? Is that what it is?
Oh, that's horrible.
Great.
It's interesting. In the dental industry, I find that it relates to the maturity of the business. And I don't mean that some businesses are immature and some are mature. I just mean usually it's related to the history of them and how close to understanding the valuation of their business. And, if they've been doing it for 20 years and they're looking at selling in the next 15 to 20, they're actually going to be looking at monetizing and getting greater share of wallet, as opposed to it's all about new patients, which new clinics are after. So with the ones that are younger, they tend to use things like free teeth whitening to get people in. But truly, that's not the try offer. That's an incentive. The try offer is to come in for a free consultation. And with your consultation, if you sign up for an assessment of your dental health, x-rays, that kind of stuff, we will give you free whitening. So that's a common one. Free consultations, again, are very common at kind of that newer phase. And that newer phase can be 10 to 15 years long, right? Depending on where they are in their growth. But then once they reach a certain point, a lot of the more mature clinics will then move into we don't give our time away for free. It's too important to us. But they will do free consultations related to high-end services such as dental implants, braces, smile makeovers, some of the more expensive stuff where you really have to build a level of trust. But then on the free side, just to take a step back, it would be like non-COVID times. It would be come in for a free tour, meet the staff, meet the dentist, see our clinic, see what's different about us. That to me is one of the biggest tries that you can have that's free. And you don't even have to offer an incentive, right? People, especially moms, because moms are one of the biggest in families, are really the one that does the choosing of the dentist. And then it's the arm wrestling with the husband to get them there usually. So that's not true in all cases. It's sorry for stereotyping. And I know I've talked a long time on this, but the one other one that I've seen that's really cool is one of my dental clients does something called Dentistry from the Heart. And it's actually a branded thing across North America. So only one dentist in each area can own this event, but it's a free dentistry day. And so they open their doors to the community and they give away free dental services. And there's a limit to what you can get, obviously, because it's all about serving as many people as possible in your community. But that is fantastic at you're building trust, you're showing them what you can do, and you're giving away something for free that has super, super high value.
Yeah. I mean, it's wow. Those are great ones, actually. the one that just popped in there, I'll throw it really quick out there, is interior design. This is like what you're just saying with dentists. This is kind of a disruptor kind of idea. That word gets tossed around a lot, disrupt, but this one actually is. It's many interior designers actually, they will do like an estimate kind of thing, a consultation. It'll be free, and that's that. Was working with an interior designer though, where it was a classic husband and wife prospect, and I think designers get this a lot, where he wants this but she wants that, and there's a lot of back and forth, and nothing gets done, nothing gets decided. And so what he found was, if I can offer some kind of small paid try to do a consultation that they must pay for, but he would do just enough work within an intake of a discovery and then one follow-up afterwards, they would have complete clarity on what it is that they needed to do, which is not giving away the farm, because they still actually have to go and do it. So, but at least they could get on the same page. And as a result, guess what? Are they going to suddenly go with somebody else? He just brought them a whole bunch of clarity with his try. So now he gets to probably get the full-on project as a result of that. And then hopefully starting with one room, but maybe going to another room and another after that to redesign.
And Dan, something you said there, I just want to draw out because it's so important. The try is not just to prove that you can do what you're going to do. It's actually to alleviate people's fears. We all have fears when we're buying. We have fears of making the wrong decision. And so with dentists, it's like, holy cow, I don't want my kids to be in pain. I don't want to be in pain. And I don't want to have to go to somebody else. I want to make this decision, get the job done right. Same with painters, same with interior designers. You just want to make sure you're making the best choice possible. And I think that's what the tries are for, right? Alleviate pain, lower the barriers.
Yep. Jen, any industries that you've seen or worked with that, you kind of seen where they could shake things up a little bit, either with their own business or different from the industry with their try?
Yeah, there's two, and I'll bring them up with I'll put the problem on the table. I haven't solved it yet, but here's the thing. So, in our organization, and I guess in you guys's as well, and probably a lot of large companies too, we're using project management software, and what that kind of means in our side of things is like a Basecamp, an Asana, a Teamwork, that kind of thing. And if you're in one and it's not serving you well and you want to try out another, it's such a big leap, because even if they're giving you, a 30-day free trial, you got to think about that. Like, which client are you going to bring over to try? How many of your team members are you going to train on this? It's going to take you probably more than 30 days to kind of get used to where everything is. And you're using your old system as well, right? Yeah, because you're trialing this. So the switching barrier to move over is just, it's good for the one you're with, right? Because it's kind of like, let's just stay with this one. So how could a company like that, or how could an offer like that make it easier? Because I know that's a major hurdle. You're like, we got to port all our stuff over, and then what if it's not right? And so there's that one in software. And another one on the services side is around actually like financial planners. So if you go in for a trial with any kind of financial planner, aside from, say, their presentation on there, you should do this with real estate or this with, whatever, your money, in order for you to try out, how can you help me? Or, what's my life going to look like? You have to give out, or at least Canada anyways, they're asking for tax and bank statements and where do you owe this and your credit card. And like, it's almost like you're pulling together all your tax receipts in order to give it over to this, girl or gal or guy to run a trial on you. And so it's two, I think it's two-pronged on that one. Like, first of all, the gathering all that. And then for most of us, or a lot of us, the money situation, it's very personal. So you're not just like, just throw over all my life to this kind of stranger and hope you do something good with it. So those are two areas that both have trials. But I think that there's such a hurdle sometimes to having folks accept their trial That's what I said there. You know, I think it could be better. I haven't solved it yet, but you know, there's
But
certainly
right.
a lot of friction there.
You're right, because I think that I'm glad you brought up the financial one, because that is one that they often think is not a big deal. Like they
Yeah.
often think is, oh, just bring us your statements. It's not a big well, you know, first of all, like you said, gathering that stuff is a pain in the butt. Secondly, if I've already done it with somebody before, you probably don't want to keep doing it like 5 more times. It's not like the most fun experience you ever had. So if you can do that, you know, if you can find a way to make that a little bit easier, a little bit shorter, but still have a fluid discussion about their goals, you know, maybe it doesn't have to be such a mind-numbing experience over the course of 30 to 45 minutes, because it's always the same. Any financial firm that can crack that code, I think, is going to be basically standing out.
100%.
Paul, I'll let you have the last word here. I wanted to just get your take, you know, with everything we've said about tries, if you had to give someone some advice about, you know, they've never done a try before, what's some of the number one thing they really need to keep in mind about not only rolling one out, but measuring its effectiveness?
Well, your try offer, and we've talked about having multiple try offers, and we all do, because it has to align, and Ken touched on this, it has to align to the problem they have and how you're going to solve that. Because if you're offering if you have a try offer for an issue that they don't have, then they're not going to be interested. So let's say the difference between the TOPA and the marketing audit. Well, when you do a TOPA, they may not need an SEO package. Maybe all they need really is to be locally focused and show up very well locally. And that's a little different from a marketing audit, because if they don't have a marketing plan, and what they need is a marketing plan, and your try offer is SEO, there's going to be a disconnect there. So I would say the biggest thing is to have multiple offers, try them, put them out there, and make sure that your try offer speaks to the problem that they need solved.
Got it. Perfect. Well said. And thanks everyone for letting us have a little bit more time with you than usual today. But I think what we've illustrated here is that every business can have a try in some form or fashion. So if you think that yours, there's no way that you can, chances are you just maybe need the help of someone like a marketing consultant who can help you work through that to help convert some of those folks who are on the fence into a full-time retainer client. So with that, this is Dan Gershenson, and for Ken and Paul and Ian and Jen, thanks for joining us once again on the Marketing Guides for Small Business podcast. We'll see you soon. Take care.